Okay, video number 3 for Sunday evening. Welcome to another episode of Markets with Morning Joe. I am your host, Joe Nasser. If you are just tuning in, it is the third video of the day. It is March 30th. At this point, it is 10 minutes of 5 Eastern Time. And like I said, this is the third video I've made. If you have not seen the last two videos, please go back and watch them as I've discussed. The first video was pretty much all about the S&P and the Qs and the whole chart pattern, very similar to what you see here in the Meta chart pattern. But I talked a lot about the overall picture and what's been going on in the last week or two with all the chop and up and down pattern. Anyway, I talked about the second video. I discussed a whole bunch of other mega cap names, including gold, silver, Bitcoin, oil, nat gas, and like I said, all the mega cap names: Tesla, Nvidia, Google, Amazon, Apple, Palantir, as well as Meta. And I got cut off pretty quick. I was running out of time. I'm only allowed 20 minutes on TradingView. I don't know why they only limit it to 20 minutes, but neither here nor there. So I want to recap a couple of things from the previous video. First of all, I mentioned something about the tariffs being a solution to something bigger. And I said that, the tariffs are a solution to something bigger, meaning like the recession that I expect, that we probably are, no, I shouldn't say expect, suspect that we are probably already in a recession and don't know it yet, or the records haven't shown yet, because I think the rule is that they don't know it until like 6 months after it's actually happened, or we're in the beginning of a recession, but I don't think that I want to correct myself. I don't think the tariffs are a solution to a recession. I think the tariffs are a solution to paying off our debt. Okay, saving America, bringing jobs back to America, bringing all the companies back to America, and making trade obviously truly fair. So, but I'm not going to get into all that. I really don't know anything about trade and tariffs, quite frankly. But the narrative is that tariffs has been causing fear in the markets, and that's what's been causing the sell-off. And although that might be some bit of truth to it, because obviously it's been news driven, and every time tariffs are spoken of by Trump or somebody from the Trump's cabinet, like Scott Bessent, the markets have a sell day. All right, but I think it's all baked in the cake. I think the bigger picture is the markets had a huge run up over the last 4 years, really, since COVID, and that's it. The stimulus money is done. The markets are done. We are way overinflated, and it's time that this run up comes back down, because you can't go up forever and ever. All right, we need a healthy correction, and 5 or 7% isn't going to do it. So I think it's time for a true correction. I think we are in the early, in the makings of a massive correction. All right, and again, that's yet to be seen. We'll find out in the next week or two what happens if the markets continue to have a massive sell-off or not. We'll find out. But let's finish off with Meta, and then I want to talk about. I want this video really to be about market psychology, and if you are a trader and you're making mistakes, how to catch your mistakes and learn from it. All right, so. The last video I made, I ended on Meta. I ran out of time, and I was saying that how it basically sold off along with the rest of the market, and it came into the 200-day moving average along with this trend line right here. So it's been trading here. It was trading here previously. All right, the week before it made the low at 580, 577. All right, and that was on Tuesday, and then again on Wednesday, and then it had a big day up, and then it sold off within that day, and that was a topping tail candle right here. So that tricked me, because I thought that it was going to go higher, but it had. I can hear my wife calling me in the background. Excuse me. Yes. How are you, baby?
Hi, baby.
What's going on? All right. Sorry about that. So back to the chart. So it went up on this day here, March 20th on Thursday. Had a huge day up. Okay, I want to go to an hourly chart because here it is right here. That was Thursday. You see this massive move up. Okay, 1 hour bar. All right, and then the following hour, it went up a little bit higher, and then it reversed the rest of the day. The whole day it just continued to sell off, down, down, down. Came back almost to the lows of this candle right here where it started, and then the following day it made another move up. Okay, oops, and then the day after that, Monday, it gapped up along with the rest of the market. So it fooled me and quite a lot of other people, I guess. As everybody thought the market's going to go higher. So let me go back to a daily. So it had this huge gap up on Monday, went up again on Tuesday, and then it sold off. Okay, and then on Thursday, it actually ended the day green, believe it or not. So it was tricky. It looked like it was going to continue and make another move up higher, but it didn't. It sold off. So we'll see what happens now with Facebook. If it does sell off, Facebook, we could see it. So I was expecting Facebook to hit $540 based off of, I think it was from here. I want to say one of these. Let me see here. So is it 687 down to 5? So that was 110. So 110 from 634. That would take it down to 520. Well, I don't remember where I was measuring from. Maybe it was from here, 644 down to 575. We'll see. It doesn't matter. Anyways, I was expecting Meta to come down to 540, and it might. But bigger picture, if the markets do sell off, we'll see. Meta come down to, let's see here, 740 down to, let's call it 580. So that's 160 points. 160 from here, 630. That would take it down to 470 or so, somewhere in that area, which would be somewhere in this area right here, this support level right here. All right, and I do think that's possible. If the markets sell off, there you go. If you go to a monthly chart, there's your 20-day moving average at 484. Okay, and then below that is your 50-day at 340. But then you have this support right here at 365. So I would not be surprised if we do have a massive sell-off, for Meta to come down, at least into the 450, 440 range. Okay. All right. I want to talk about Netflix because basically Netflix. So here's last week we had options. Not last week. The week before we had options expiration, and a lot of games are played by the institutions during options expiration, especially if it's quad witching, which is I don't know too much about quad witching, but it's like like quarterly expiration, okay, which is a lot. Okay, so basically $4.5 trillion got wiped out 2 weeks ago. There was a lot of games and manipulation that week, but the week after, which was this past week, there was even more manipulation. And they continue. Sometimes they do it the week before options expiration. Sometimes they do it the week after. And it seemed like they were doing that a lot on the week after. And I want to talk about Netflix because this is where I see the manipulation. So Netflix had a huge, massive sell-off, okay, back in early March. All right, massive sell-off. Like one day, it sold off. It went from the highs on this day was 973. The low was 899. So it sold off like $74 in one day, and then the following day it sold off even further down to 860, and then it had a huge move up. Okay, and this week was options expiration week. All right, and it closed on Friday. It closed at 960. Okay, Monday gaps up even higher. And then Tuesday it gaps up even higher. It has this huge, massive fucking day to break above this trend line to make everybody think that that's it. This thing is going higher. It's like, wow, what the hell happened this day that caused it to go up so high, right? You look at you look at where it went into. You just look at this dotted line across here. It came into the resistance right here from the previous highs back in February. It went right to the lows of this green bar and this red bar, right? So I'm looking at it, I'm like, how much higher is this thing going to go? I mean, that's a huge pop up after a huge run up, after a huge sell off. How much higher can this thing go? It can't possibly go any higher. Look at this resistance, but could it? Maybe, right? And I look at the news. I want to see what happened in the news that caused it to move up. And well, I'm not going to waste time looking for it now, but basically, J.P. Morgan said they um, raised its what their expectations of the stock that to $1,000 or something like that. So they got the stock to move up higher towards $1,000, and look, it stopped shy of $1,000. The high was 998.70. Okay, but then you look down here and you look at the volume and you look how low the volume was. Let me show you the volume on that day. The volume on this huge move up was 3.78 million. Okay, that's not a lot of volume. Look how low the volume bar is down here. Look at 2 days previous to that, which was Friday. That was options expiration. That was 5.9 million compared to 3.78. So not quite half, but quite a bit lower than the heavy volume on Friday. And then you look at some of these other days: 6.6 million, 7.5 million, right? So it had a huge move up, but it was on super low volume. So that was suspicious. It's like, all right, but you got to look for things like this because that is a signal enough to tell you, all right, something suspicious is going on. Obviously, JP Morgan is playing games, trying to trick everybody. And that's what these institutions do. They raise the, the, what the hell? I'm drawing blanks here, guys. I'm sorry. Where is the news? Where is the news? How come I'm not seeing the news? Oh, here it is. Okay. Let me see. JP Morgan climbing above 1,000 as subscriber growth margins improve. Okay. Bullshit. Give me a fucking break, right? That is options X manipulation. They suckered everybody in, all right, and the following day it sold off. So the lesson learned here is, you get a fake news report like that, and it's not a fake news report. It's obviously legit coming from J.P. Morgan, but it's meant to basically get the stock back up to where they want it, so they can sell more to anybody dumb enough to buy it at that price. Now, I didn't buy it at the price, but I had a short on it because I wasn't expecting it to go higher from than this area right here. When it gapped up, I'm like, son of a bitch. But I should have held. I should have held because I knew that it was going. It went into this resistance right here, and you know, I'm like, I don't expect this thing to go higher. But so here's the thing. For me, I've been trading for 3 years, and 2 years ago, I would have added to my short position. I would have had the courage, not necessarily the courage, I would say more so the ignorance to add to my shorts. But that's how I got burnt early on in trading because, shorting, it can be extremely dangerous. When you're shorting a stock, there's no limit to how much money you can lose, right? So I was trying to be responsible and close out my short before my losses, got too bad. Even though I really, really had a very, very strong feeling that that was a trick and it was manipulation, especially with the low volume, that it was probably going to go lower, not higher, right? But who knows? We'll see what happens. And then on Friday, it had a bloodbath of a day, like everything else in the markets. So the lesson, guys, these last couple of weeks, really, these last 2, 3 weeks, there has been a huge separation between the bulls and the bears. You've got very successful advisors, guys like Tom Lee, Mark Newton from Fundstrat Capital. I mean, these guys are legit, very well respected, very successful, very followed. They're usually spot on. They're bulls. They are very bullish the market, and they're expecting the market to go higher. So when you hear them talk about the market going higher, and then you hear, like, for example, Charles Payne on Fox News, who's also very bullish, talking about, everybody salivating at these levels here, and they want to get in on it, and they think the market's going higher, that this is a correction, 10% correction that should be bought. You hear these guys that have a lot more experience and know a lot more about the markets than I do, and then you hear other bulls talk about it, and other people saying, yeah, we haven't had to blow off top yet. Even though, as much as I try to stick to the charts, okay, because the charts, they tell, that's it. The charts are never wrong. The trend is your friend. The charts, if you can learn how to read the chart patterns and recognize what's going on, you'll be right most of the time. You're not going to be right 100% of the time. Nobody's ever right. Everybody makes mistakes, no matter how good they are, including Tom Lee and Mark Newton and Charles Payne, for that matter. And they were wrong in a big way this week, okay, because they thought the market was going to continue to go higher, and it didn't. It reversed, okay. And they've been telling us to buy, that the market was going to go higher from here back in February, and the whole time this was going down, they're saying buy the dip, buy the dip. Like, fuck, how many times are you going to buy the dip before you lose all your money, right? So the point of my story is, everybody fails, okay, from time to time. What's important is you learn from your failures. Learn, figure out the reasons why you made the mistake, and learn from it, and learn from it quickly. Because the sooner you learn, the sooner you're gonna not make that same mistake again. Now, again, I got suckered this time with the pulling, covering my short. I wish I didn't, because if I didn't cover my short, I would have been in the money on as of Friday. But I didn't want to risk losing more money, so I closed my position. Well, I'll make it up. Um, so that's it, guys. That's my rant. That's what I wanted to talk about. Sorry, it was long-winded, but anyhow, in the end, I hope you guys are enjoying the videos. I hope that it is informative and educational, and not boring anybody. I know it could be boring sometimes, but I hope it's helpful, and you guys are gaining something from it. So, as always, I appreciate you. Thank you for following. And if you have enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, guys. Have a wonderful week. I'm going to try to do my best to start doing morning episodes starting tomorrow, and try to have some sort of a morning routine again, and be true to the name, Markets with Morning Joe. On that note, have a wonderful night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and God bless. Take care.